I could go out in the dark, I see you calling my name. I hear you shouting, hear you calling, but it's not the same. Every word that you are throwing right into my back doesn't matter to me, cause I'm keeping my track. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Stop talking, let me go. Our time together always ended up in war. Every whisper made you jealous, ended from the start. It is nice to see you shouting out for throwing me out. No excuse.
Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Truck It Proud. Yeah, it is very early today. I'm lying, it's not. It's 6:30. It just feels very early. Gonna go make my way down to Tilbury this morning, get loaded and head off to Battersea. Today's vlog is going to be about different types of HGV driving. What do you mean by that, you say? Well, let me elaborate a little bit more. So I have got my sunglasses on, just so you know that the sun is just piercing through the clouds. So yeah, maybe you're thinking it looks dark. The sun is there, I assure you. So yeah, different types of HGVs. So I've been quite lucky in my HGV career and done a lot in a short period of time. So I'll go for a quick run through of everything that I've done, and I'll explain to you the pros and cons of those, and then maybe you can make a decision of what kind of driving is more suitable for you. So when I started on fridges and freezers, delivering to supermarkets. When I say supermarkets, it was more like the DC, the distribution centres. So like the big Tesco's, where they then load everything up and send it all off out to their stores. A bit like these co-ops I'm going past right now. And then from there, where did I go after that? I went to an aggregate company, basically moving sand, mostly sand, limestone, gravel, you name it, all that sort of stuff. And then from there I moved on to containers. Did containers for a little while, going in and out the docks, delivering from anywhere from businesses to superstores to people's houses sometimes, which was usually quite eventful. And then from there I went on to a postal service, a big one. Basically, sorry, that's my train of thought then. Those were like, mostly the work was double-decker work, so doing double-deckers through central London, all the way up to sort of places as far as Coventry and stuff like that. And that was just literally from one of their sites to another one of their sites. Left there. Let me see anything out. I left there and then I came here. And in which time since I've been here, I've done Curtainsiders, which was the first thing I did here, which you probably know if you watch my videos regularly. That was the first adventure as a YouTuber, my Curtainsider job. Then I moved on to flatbeds, and now I'm doing tankers. So, starting from the beginning to the end. Fridges and freezers. So fridges and freezers, I quite enjoyed that job because I'm not sure how I would feel doing it Monday to Friday, but when I did it, it was a 4 on 4 off, and I did enjoy that because it just felt like, although when you were in, you did long hours, like most of the time it was between 12 and 15 hour days, because you had those 4 days off, you didn't really care. It was just sort of, right, I'm here today and then I'll be off for 4 days after this. So that was easy enough, taking, like I said a minute ago, taking stuff from the pool down at Tilbury to say Tesco's and Dagenham, Marks and Spencer's, all those sort of places. And sometimes even going and picking fresh food up from the companies that produce it, some of the smaller companies. Some of those could be quite challenging, especially as I was a new driver at the time. Quite tight, narrow little places, but it was definitely a good starter for experience. And then I went on to the aggregate work. I loved the aggregate work just simply because it was early starts, and usually when you start early, most of the time it was getting back to the yard between 2 and 3 o'clock, which was nice. So you did have quite a bit of an evening. Easy enough work, literally just pull up to a quarry, get loaded by a shovel, pull up to your site, back onto a hopper. If you don't know what a hopper is, basically a big bucket basically where you tip all your product in. So for example, if you were going to a cement mixing plant, you would back up onto the hopper and tip all your load this way actually. Tip all your load into the hopper and it will go up a conveyor belt into the silos and get all mixed up, put onto the back of cement mixers. So that was easy enough. Everything was controlled by buttons. Opened the back door and it was a walk-in floor. So what's a walk-in floor, you may ask? So there are tippers where obviously the back of the bed lifts up and the product slides out. A walk-in floor looks similar, so you'll probably see them about and you'll probably think it is a tipper, but actually they don't tip up. What they do is they'll have about 8 or 10 metal plates on the bottom of the floor which move back and forward, and there's a headboard, and that floor pulls that headboard to the back of the trailer slowly but surely and pushes the product out on the way. And then you just literally press a button, the headboard goes back and get loaded again. Although that can be funny, if you forget to put that headboard back, it's not a case of the chance of you forgetting to the headboard back are slim, but it's if you don't put it back far enough, which happened to me once. Never again, because once you make that mistake, you're not doing it again. So basically, I thought I'd pushed it all the way back. I went back to get loaded for my second job, and obviously I hadn't put it all the way back. The shovels pushed in a load of sand, and I had about 10 ton of sand sitting behind the headboard. So me and a colleague, shout out to Dan, spent about, I don't know, it had to be an hour, a couple of hours, whatever, just basically with shovels chucking it all over the headboard to the right side, and yeah, basically back-breaking work. So like I say, once you've done that once, you'll never do that again. One of those things, we all do silly things, we all live and learn. So yeah, that was the aggregates. So yeah, again, I enjoyed that one. Container work, that was what I went on to next. So containers, for me, I don't know if it was just the company that I worked for. I'm not gonna say what company it was. Didn't really enjoy, just for the simple fact that 90% of the time you'll be sitting around waiting, doing absolutely nothing. I mean, some people don't like that, but me personally, I like to be busy and the day goes quick. So you have to get like a special code to get into the docks, which means you then have to get hold of your office to give you the code. Now, the company that I worked for, it can sometimes take you anything from half an hour, being a good time, to 2.5 hours just to get the code to get onto the docks. And I always felt like I was chasing my tail with that job, and not because of the places that you had to go or to do, it was just simply because the office in that place was awful. They had a lot of drivers, and I think they only had about 2 people in the office. And there's probably some people watching this that probably can relate. So yeah, I wasn't overly keen on containers, just for the simple fact that I was always getting home late, and it was not due to anything to do with my own fault. If it's traffic, hold-ups, you know, delays at delivery sites or something like that, I can handle that. But when it's your own office that's making you late home and then expecting you to be happy about it, that was a bit of a no-no for me. Needless to say, it didn't stay there long. From there, I went on to like a mail service company, and I was delivering just basically parcels and letters. This job was actually the only agency work I've ever done, and I would actually say by far it was the most enjoyable, in terms of I could get my work done quick without any sort of problems. They were very well organised. They accounted in extra time for your run, they accounted in your breaks. Everything was military. Like, there was no messing about. They just, yeah, they got their together. Let's just put it that way. And that was on the double deckers. The only thing that was a little bit scary about that, being quite a new driver, was the fact that, I say new driver, I wasn't that new, it wasn't that long ago. It's just the fact that you were driving a double decker sometimes, and I had this fear of low bridges, like a lot of people that are starting out driving. However, the company that I worked for, like I say, they were very good, and if I could get a job full time, I would definitely go back there. But they are very hard to become a part of. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about now. Let's put it this way: once people get a job there, they don't usually leave until retirement. But yeah, like, they would literally give you a booklet with the location of where you're going. It would tell you if there was any bridges on your route, or even nearby, what roads to avoid. And I actually done that job all with Google Maps in a double decker. I know, it's mental. But because they had the instructions in the book, as long as there was no road closures or diversions, which happened to me once when I did a night, which was awful. But yeah, again, you just follow the diversion and it was alright, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, working for that company was good, I enjoyed that. And then I came to EBS. So EBS, I started on Curtainside, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, again, it was quite a bit of waiting time. Curtainsiders, but in general as a whole, yeah, I enjoyed the work that I did there, delivering to a lot of builders merchants, a lot of challenging reverses. It's definitely not for a beginner, I would say. I mean, it all depends on how confident you are, I suppose. But yeah, there's a lot of London, a lot of tight little sites that we go to. But I enjoyed that because it made good content for me, really. It's kind of what got me into doing this. Some of the places I was going to, I was like, that's nice. I'd like to show people what I do there, because that isn't easy. And yeah, that's how I got into it. And then I moved on to flatbeds. Now, flatbeds was awesome. Absolutely loved flatbeds. Start early, get your work done. Usually 2 drops a day. You could go to builders merchants, building sites. So there's a lot of variety. So that was always good. And yeah, it was no 2 days were ever the same. What? And then I moved on to tankers, which I'm on now. A little bit more money. Probably, I would say, not the most enjoyable for me. It's not my favourite out of the 3 that I've done here at EBS. But not because of anything other than the reason that the places that we go to are pretty much the same places day in, day out. And as somebody that likes to talk to you guys and show you what I do, it's not the most exciting. But with that said, if you're, not like me, and you like a job that's pretty straightforward, and know that you're going to the same places all the time, and it's pretty good for a new guy, I guess, because you'll get used to the places you're going, and you won't be stressing about where you got to go and what you got to do. You'll just pick it up and away you go, until you get a little bit of experience with your reversing, and I'd say it's pretty good. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So the only things that I haven't really done is a high ab. So that's basically a trailer with a crane on the back that picks stuff up, drops it off, or a moffat, which is basically a forklift that's attached to the back of the lorry. Haven't done them. I haven't done fuel tankers. Maybe one day in the future. I'm not sure if there's much you can film with that, because I haven't really seen much online, so I'm guessing that it's quite a no-no. So maybe not. But we'll see. But yeah, if there's anything that I've missed, I'm sure there is. There's loads of different types, but those are sort of the main ones that you can sort of get into. Yeah. So if this has been helpful and you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give us a little like, subscribe, and if you don't like it, I don't give a shit. But thanks for watching anyway. See you on the next one.